Summer in medieval Paris meant bathhouses crowded with people scrubbing away twice a month. But as soon as winter hit, everything changed. Bathing stopped cold across Europe, even though the grime piled up. Why? Heating a tub meant burning a day's firewood, and stepping out wet in a drafty house could kill you faster than the Black Death. So how did medieval people survive the winter without baths? And what did modern science uncover about those deadly frozen months? In the heart of medieval cities, bathing was anything but rare. Paris in 1292 boasted 26 public bathhouses, each one a hive of activity through the warm months. London counted 18, Vienna 29, numbers that dwarf modern assumptions about medieval hygiene. On a summer day, hundreds would pass through these doors, scrubbing away the dust and sweat of city life. Bathing was not a luxury for the elite. It was a regular part of urban living. Most people aimed for a full bath every week or two, with some city dwellers managing even more frequent visits when the weather allowed. The rhythm of the bathhouse shaped entire neighborhoods, from the bakers who shared their ovens to heat water, to the laundresses hauling steaming linens through the streets. All classes mingled in these communal spaces, united by the promise of hot water and a brief escape from the grime. But this steady flow came with an unspoken deadline. As the calendar crept toward November, the crowds thinned. By winter, bathhouses across Europe saw their business evaporate almost overnight. The same cities that buzzed with bathers in July fell silent by December, leaving behind only the question: why did a society so committed to cleanliness suddenly stop bathing for months on end? The answer lies deeper than simple discomfort, hinting at a hidden calculation that balanced survival against the urge to stay clean. Heating enough water for a single bath in a medieval winter meant facing the laws of physics head on. Water holds heat stubbornly. Warming 25 gallons from freezing to bath temperature demanded nearly 4 million joules of energy. For a peasant family, that translated to burning through an entire day's supply of firewood, just for one person's bath. In a season when every stick might be the difference between warmth and frostbite, the cost was staggering. But the real peril began after the bath. Medieval homes leaked warmth like sieves, with icy drafts pushing through every crack. At -15 degrees Fahrenheit, stepping out of a wooden tub left skin wet and pores wide open. Modern physiologists have measured how quickly the human body loses heat in these conditions. Wet skin conducts heat away up to 25 times faster than air alone. In thermal imaging studies, a person wrapped in damp linen at those temperatures can see their core temperature drop dangerously within minutes. Hypothermia is not just a distant threat, it sets in fast. As the body cools below 95 degrees Fahrenheit, shivering gives way to confusion, then exhaustion. Medieval accounts describe people falling ill or dying days after a winter bath, and today's science explains why. The combination of wet skin, freezing air, and unheated rooms creates a perfect storm for pneumonia and fatal chills. Even the most determined bather faced a simple, brutal equation: risk a deadly plunge or stay dirty and survive. The wisdom of winter avoidance was written not just in old manuals, but in the cold, hard math of medieval life. Medieval physicians approached winter bathing with the authority of science as they understood it. Medical historians point to treatises circulating in the wake of the Black Death, where physicians warned that winter baths were not just uncomfortable, but dangerous. One widely read manual from the middle of the 1300s cautioned that no one should bathe when the air bites with cold, because the skin opens and the humors of the body are set loose, inviting sudden illness. Their logic rested on the 4 humors: blood, phlegm, black bile, and yellow bile, thought to govern health. Bathing, in this view, opened the skin's pores, leaving the body exposed to invading cold. Cold air, they argued, seeped through these open channels, disrupting the delicate balance and letting disease take hold. Physicians drew a direct line from a steaming bath in a frigid house to a feverish deathbed days later. Their warnings carried weight, especially after years when more people reportedly died from post-bath chills than from the plague itself. For medieval families, these pronouncements were not superstition. They were survival instructions, grounded in the best reasoning available. The consensus was clear. In winter, a bath could be as risky as a night in the open snow. Inside the stone vaults of England's county archives, centuries-old coroner rolls tell a chilling story. Among the faded Latin entries, a handful of winter deaths stand out, cases where the simple act of bathing proved fatal. In 1411, the name Thomas Baker appears, a labourer found dead 3 days after a rare winter bath. The official record notes only his age, 34, and the circumstances, bathed in cold months, fell ill, never recovered. While the language is spare, the implication is clear. Baker's case is not alone. Across the rolls, similar verdicts surface. Sudden deaths following immersion, often in the coldest weeks of the year, with witnesses describing fevers and weakness that set in soon after washing. Forensic archivists point to these patterns as hard evidence that winter bathing was more than a theoretical risk. Each parchment entry, written in the cramped hand of a medieval coroner, confirms what medical manuals only warned. The statistics are modest, just a handful of deaths each winter, but in communities where survival was already precarious, these losses shaped household routines. The rolls became a silent authority, reinforcing the lesson that in winter, water could be as deadly as disease. Linen undergarments became the unsung heroes of medieval winter hygiene. Every household, from peasant cottage to noble manor, relied on linen shifts worn next to the skin. The fabric's natural fibers absorbed sweat and body oils far better than wool or hemp, trapping grime before it could reach outer garments. Weekly rotation was the standard. One set of linen would be worn while the other was washed, scrubbed with harsh ash soap, boiled over the hearth, and hung to dry in the cold air. Archaeologists studying medieval graves find linen fragments abraded thin, sometimes nearly transparent from repeated wear and scrubbing, while outer woolen tunics remain almost pristine. The laundress, often the lowest paid member of the household, braved freezing water and caustic lye to keep these linens in rotation. In Burgundy, a 1456 household manual insisted that dirty linen bred disease faster than an unwashed body, making the weekly wash a matter of health, not just comfort. For the poor, linen was precious, sometimes worn for 2 weeks, then flipped inside out for a second round. This relentless cycle of wearing, washing, and drying linen did not just stand in for bathing, it formed the backbone of winter hygiene, quietly protecting bodies when a bath could be fatal. Spot cleaning ruled winter routines. French etiquette guides from 1289 demanded washing face and hands at dawn, before meals, and at night, even when water froze solid. The face, seen as the soul's mirror, had to look clean. Hands, always touching food, got extra scrubbing. Feet, often trapped in damp leather boots, risked infection if ignored. A 1401 German text warned that neglect could cost toes. When water was scarce, people used what nature offered. Clean snow, scooped fresh, was rubbed on faces and hands, then dried with wool, as a 1456 Swedish guide suggested. Hair was dusted with powdered clay or chalk, then brushed out. Italy's 1367 beauty manuals called it dry shampoo, herbs, masked odors. English inventories from 1423 list lavender, rosemary, sage, and mint, bundled in linen pouches, sewn into clothing, releasing scent with every movement. In noble circles, the ritual grew elaborate. A 1392 French court record describes a lady rinsing her face with rose water, perfuming her linen with lavender, and combing her hair with imported oils. Yet etiquette forbade mentioning anyone's smell. March brought the Great Cleaning. Bavarian chronicles from 1467 describe boiling linens, washing clothes, scrubbing bodies, and sweeping homes. The first bath after months felt euphoric, a communal return to freshness and life. Today, we take hot showers for granted, but energy poverty and water scarcity are rising, realities worldwide. Medieval choices remind us, hygiene adapts to limits. not ideals. As climate and resources shift, survival may once again mean rethinking what clean really means. What would you choose?